So what are we making today? We're gonna make some Scrappy Angels. I think before we start, I have to put on a Christmas album. That's better. Hi there. Welcome to Artfully Sew, where we get creative with our sewing, quilting, and upcycling projects. Well, it's the holiday season, and since it is the time of giving, I was trying to think of something that I could make to give to my friends and family that would not only use up some of the things in my linens drawer, but also just kind of be something unique and not the same. I'm calling this project my Scrappy Angels, and I'm going to show you how you can make them too. The idea came from this little angel that I bought somewhere along the lines. She's a cute little stuffy, and see her, she's got some fun hair, but I thought she was kind of cute, and I thought it would be fun to adapt this and use some scraps from quilts that I've made. I've also found some linens and doilies and these kinds of things in my stash. Those of you that have been with me a while have seen my stash of linens. It's really hard for me to pass up this stuff when I see it at Goodwill or St. Vinny's or rummage sales. It's just, they're so beautiful. We are going to turn them into some Scrappy Angels. I guess Stella's gonna help. Yes, I know, I see you. I see you, yes I do. So I also did some scouring on YouTube to see if I could find some ideas on how to make some angels. And I found this wonderful lady. She has a channel called, dang, I have to look it up. Did I subscribe to her channel? Yes, I did. Her name is Rick Rack Ruby. Actually, that's the name of her channel. Anyway, I'll put a link for that down in my description below. Can I have my chair back, please? So I used some of the tips that was used in Rick Rack Ruby to make these angels. I used this little angel as kind of like a template, and I kind of came up with my own design. I took this little head and I thought, well, it's kind of the shape of a thumb, and I wanted to leave a little bit of seam allowance, and of course we're all about using up scraps. So I found some plain kind of tone-on-tone fabric that I had in my stash, because we always want to use up our stash. And I traced a shape that I thought would work pretty good. This is the shape, and I traced it onto the fabric. I took 2 pieces of the tone-on-tone fabric, and I took 2 pieces of batting. And the reason why I used 2 pieces of batting is that I wanted this head to be a little bulkier than just a flat quilt. The 2 pieces of batting go on the bottom, and then the 2 pieces of fabric go on the top. But you have to make sure you put those right sides together, because you have to turn these inside out. After I turned the heads inside out, next comes the hair. I looked through my stash of yarns and things, and I really didn't find angel hair that I thought would work very well. So I went to Joann's Fabrics, and I found this really fun thread that works great for angel hair. It's called Scrubby. It's by Red Heart. I will put a link for that below as well. And this is what the angel hair looks like. Isn't that fun? Doesn't that look like hair? What I did is I followed the same directions that Rick Rack Ruby used to make her angel hair. I just used this scrubby stuff instead. and tied it together in little clumps. Follow her directions, she does it great. Because I didn't exactly like the shape of the head when it was finished, because it kind of looked really boxy, what I did is I went around and I kind of tied it, I did some hand sewing to kind of give it a better shape. I added 2 little clumps of hair to the head, one along the back side that kind of makes it look like her little ponytail sticking out there, and then one other piece for the top to make her bangs. Now Rick Rack Ruby used hot glue. If you want to use hot glue, go for it. I just don't like working with hot glue because I burn myself all the time, and I'm a thread and needle person, so that's the route I like to go. So feel free to use hot glue if it works for you. No judgments here. See, I kind of made it like me.
Oh, isn't that cute? That is the most precious thing I've ever seen in my life.
So once I attached the hair to the back of the head, the next part is the body. And with the body, I loved picking different ideas out for some bodies. So like this, look at this one. This one will make a cute little body. We'll make it into a dress. This one also is kind of cute. Doilies work perfectly because they're kind of poofy and cute. You see how this doily has a rip in it? We'll use the front part and put that part in the back. So here's another idea that we can use. And then I also had these scraps of quilt squares that I bought at a rummage sale a long time ago. And I cut them into circles, and I can kind of fold them in, and they make cute little dresses for the angels. Of course, to me this isn't fancy enough, so I also have this nice bowl of trim. We can add that trim to the angel dresses as well. For the embroidered pieces, sometimes I find that a little bit of tulle underneath makes it have a little more depth and form to it. I got that from Rick Rack Ruby too. I actually found this, luckily, at St. Vinny's. Had this, but I think you can get this roll of tulle at any fabric store. And generally what I do is I cut maybe about 12 inches because I don't like to use a lot of it. And you see how this is just estimations, people. We're not really being too fancy with measurements. This is 9-inch width, and I made it about 12 inches. And then I kind of find where the center is and make a little dress. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of looking to see how to fold this so that it looks like a dress. And I usually do like a triangle fold, almost like you're folding a napkin. So you see how I did that? This came down. Actually, it's easy to do on the flat surface. Okay. And then I take this little piece of tulle and I tuck it inside for her little dress. Or his little dress. Maybe we're making boy angels too.
It's not a dress, it's a kilt! Sicko!
Once I get a general placement, I just take my sewing needle and thread. I'm just gonna put a little stitch in there, like right about where her head is gonna be. And I'm gonna do it up towards where her neck attaches to the dress because I don't want it to show. And I'm gonna eventually hide that little stitch with some trim. And when I'm pretty much happy with where that is, then I'm gonna stitch the head to the dress. I need my thimble. I really like this thimble. It has holes in the middle that help to really push things through when it gets pretty thick like this head is. Just kind of stabilizing it, making sure her head kind of stays in one spot. I am only picking up the back side of that handkerchief or embroidered piece, that linen. I'm not going all the way to the front because I don't want it to show on the front. And then I always tie off a knot to make sure it stays. Like I said before, if you want to use glue, you can use glue too. I just feel like I have a little more control when I use my needle. So now where I just did that stitching, I want to find a little piece of trim I can wrap around her neck, not only to cover up that stitch, but just to make it look pretty. So I have all these different trims, another one of my guilty pleasure collections. Like, look at this, beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's antique-y. Oh, so pretty. Here's some nice ribbon that's kind of fun colors. There's pink in here, so I think I'm gonna stay with one of these laces. And here's some more antique-y lace. Antique-y lace. Oh, that's a different song. Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna use this. And you know what? It's distressed. It has some holes in it, but that's okay. I love that tattered look. It's really cute. And then I'm gonna wrap it around her little neck to add a little collar. And I just need to do a few stitches around there to stabilize that, to keep it from falling off. These angels work great for on the Christmas tree, but they also are really fun to add to the top of Christmas presents or give as teacher gifts. If you have, especially like if you have some handkerchiefs or something that's from your grandma, you can make them into cute little angels and give them to your relatives, and then they have a little piece of grandma with them.
Why would somebody wrap up a cat in a box?
She takes things from around the house, wraps them up, gives them away as presents.
Great. Can't wait to see what I got.
The other thing I like to do is kind of give her, ooh, sorry, baby. I like to give her underdress a little trim. And I'm gonna guess about like that. Like I said, these are fun. You don't have to have exact measurements. I also like to add buttons. Part of what's fun about these buttons are the cards that they come on. Look at this one. So sweet. Here are the angel wings.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
I was kind of looking for wings like this, and I couldn't find stuff like that. And Rick Rack Ruby uses a paper wing that she cuts, or she makes a wing out of paper for her angels. I found some ribbon. This ribbon is 1.5 inches wide, and I got it at Joann's. I liked this ribbon because the edge has a little bit of a wire to it. It's not really thick wire. Maybe it's not even wire. I think it's like a braided edging on it, and it just makes it a little, it holds its shape a little better. I cut mine about 18 inches, and through. So I'm kind of hanging on to the ends, tightening them up. I actually put it between my fingers like this. You know, it just takes practice. You gotta just keep trying. And when you mess up, just start over. Untie it. If it gets bad, just cut a new one. You know, and you can just eyeball it. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I put it up higher behind her head. Sometimes I put it down lower. It really depends on where it looks nicest, I guess, to me. And then sew it on. Or glue it if you're using glue. Another piece that I like to add that this little angel didn't have are halos. I ended up getting this at the craft store. It's a wire on a spool. This one is 10 gauge. Oh wait, 10 yards, 20 gauge wire. And all I did was, I don't know, gosh, I cut it maybe 5 inches. I also took my pliers and I curled the ends. That works nicely for sewing it on. To make the shape, I took an old thimble, one of these old wooden thimbles, and I kind of shaped it around the end. I also like the halo to have a little bit of a bend to it. So I take my ends and I just fold them over there and I go poop, and I make a little lip, and then I can sew it so that the halo kind of comes out around her head a little better. And then I just sew that to her hair. And she also needs some eyes and rosy cheeks. My angels don't have faces. I guess they have faces, they just don't have noses and mouths. Partly because I just kind of like the, what do you call it, like just homemade. They look more homemade because they don't have faces, or they don't have noses and mouths. Here's a couple of my favorites. This one I made and it turned out to be my favorite one. I have to keep this one. This is a tatted doily and it just looks so cute with a little bit of tulle underneath. This one's gonna stay here and go on my tree.
Aren't they cute? If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
So what variations did you do? Or what have you thought of that's a great idea for a way to make these angels in your own way? Leave me some comments down below of some ideas that we can collaborate. Share what you make on Facebook. If you go to my Facebook page, Artfully Sew, post a picture and tag me on Facebook so that I can see what you made. The most important thing I want you to remember is to just keep sewing. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to have fun and to be creative. And the only way we can be creative is by allowing ourselves to color outside of the lines. That's when the magic happens. The last thing I wanted to say is thank you. Thank you so much for watching my videos this year. I started in February making these videos and I am so happy that many of you are coming back and asking for more. You give me great ideas and wonderful feedback. I thank you so much. If you want to show me some appreciation for all this quirky, creative content, angels we have heard on high, you can send me a monetary donation through PayPal through the link that's in the description below. I would really appreciate it. I hope you had a lot of fun making these little angels. And remember, you can artfully sew. Bye.
Merry Christmas! Merry
that worked great. There.